Welcome to another video. This week I am joined by my friend Jeff from SasaMisa1806 channel, and we're going to be talking about what I believe is his favourite Commodore 64 game, which is Paradroid, which come out in 1985 from Houston by Andrew Braybrook, as you can see. And unknowingly, when we decided to do this, we found out this week is the 35th anniversary of the game. So, how are you?
Oh, hello, everybody. Yeah, as Chris says, I had no idea it was the 35th anniversary until Jazz mentioned it in a Facebook post, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Facebook or Twitter, one of the two. I think he puts them out on both.
I mean, I played the original around a mate's house, and I was so taken with it, I went out to a local record shop and picked up a twin pack of what I believed was just Paradroid and Uridium. And it wasn't until I got home I realised that it was an updated version, which they called Fast Paradroid, the competition edition, and it's so much faster and smoother and harder than the original was.
Well, I was rubbish at the original, let alone the competition edition.
I mean, the first thing was like this loading screen here, which shows you like the 3751 Battle Droid. So that was the first thing that threw me, because the version I played, slow Paradroid I suppose you could call it now, even though it was possible to poke it and make it a bit smoother later on, it didn't have any loading screen at all. I'm pretty sure it was just a standard loader. But this one, makes a load of amusing droid noises in the background, which are actually used in the game.
Yeah, when you've got the sound on and you first load this and you don't know this is going to happen, you're like, what's that rack? I mean, normally you expect music on the 64.
I mean, I remember, I'm not sure if I actually played the game. I'm not sure if I actually played the game first or I saw the review second, but I totally agree with what Zap said. It was definitely worthy of its gold medal. It really was a masterpiece. I consider it Braybrook's kind of magnum opus. I mean, I was so taken with the game. I used to play it for hours on end, keeping my brother awake at night.
Yeah, I'm sure he loved that.
Yeah, I'm sure if he watches this video, probably gonna laugh at that. But yeah.
So here we are. Is that the game loaded? Yep.
Yeah, it now goes through. It now kind of cycles through a kind of backstory. Explaining that there's a bunch of dreadnoughts.
All right. So the competition edition come out a year later then. All right, I see.
Yeah, there's a bunch of dreadnoughts like travelling through space, but they get attacked and all the droids on board go crazy, and basically it's your job to beam aboard and dispose of them before they fall into enemy hands. I mean, it's a very minimalist approach. That's what I basically like about the game. I mean, rather than it being... I mean, the graphics are very nice to look at. They're colourful, they're sharp. Bas relief was all the rage back then. But essentially, it's the minimalist approach of the game that I like, and it's what they've termed a thinking man's shoot 'em up. I mean, when we actually show you the game itself, in my playthrough of the first ship, combining the transfer game with all these different classes of droids, which have all got different weapons and different immunities, and actually working through that and we're coming up with a strategy, it just kind of appealed to me far more than, say, Uridium did, which was a simpler shoot 'em up.
Yeah, I'm hoping you can explain the transfer game a bit, because that is my downfall on this game. I can never get it right. If I do succeed at it, it tends to be a fluke. I can never work out which side to pick or what the bloody hell I'm doing on it. So hopefully you can explain that a bit more.
There definitely is a strategy to it, and there are things you can do to kind of skew it in your favour. I'm not sure if they were intentional, but I'll explain that more when you actually see the transfer go.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, at least it explains the story to you.
Yeah, the story's actually quite interesting. It's well put together. Sets the scene nicely, I think.
Well, I like the way it says there, the data is merged with your known ship layouts at your C64 remote terminal.
Yeah, it is kind of amusing.
Yeah, that's what it says about the side elevation of the ship. That's another thing I often remember from that. It's kind of reminds me of some of the maps you see in like the Star Trek technical manuals and stuff like that, where you see the ship side on with a lift and that.
Yeah, that's something we'll show later on. But yeah, when you go on the console with a particular droid, it will show you a side elevation of the ship, a deck layout, showing you where all the energizers and the lifts are.
That's not saying much for the 6502.
Yeah, a little joke by Braybrook there, I would say.
Yeah, right, well, I should imagine very shortly then we'll let you start a game up and you can explain what the bloody hell is going on, because a lot of people don't seem to get Paradroid. I mean, I like it, I'm just rubbish at it.
Yeah, it is definitely a thinking man's shoot 'em up.
Right, here we go then. Let's get a game on.
Right, you basically start out as the 0-1 influence device, which Chris thought was a pair of eyes. To be fair, I thought it was a pair of eyes.
It does look like a pair of sleepy eyes.
But basically, although the 0-1's got its own armament and it's got its own shields, it is still fairly fragile. The actual lasers it carries are pretty weak, so you want to transfer to a droid, as I've done here, straight away in the transfer game. The idea of the transfer game is literally just to end up with your side with more blocks than the other side's got. As you can see there, I've got 7 out of 12 yellows. Once you've got another droid, it means that if you screw up the transfer game, you won't die, you'll go back to the 0-1. Now here, I've gone up to the top deck trying to get a better droid, but the 629s are not really very... The 420 is definitely no bloody good. You want to try and get something meatier now, something like a battle droid or a security droid, not a 751. So we go around to one of the cargo decks now. There's a 711 in here. 711 is basically one of the battle droids that's got probably a joke on the shop, I would say. Yeah, the 711 is one of the only 2 droids in the game that's basically got a disruptor weapon which will damage all droids in the vicinity as long as they can be damaged by a disruptor weapon. Obviously a 711 can't be because it's got a disruptor. But as you can see here, I chose blue. And again, the idea, you can see basically you've got ones that split, ones that go into one, some that auto pulse. And the idea is to pick one that's advantageous. Now, I'll leave the shuttle bay there and try one of the hardest deck ways. 2883s there, and they're not immune to disruptors. They do a hell of a lot of damage.
All right, so that flashing is you operating the disruptor.
The 821 is basically immune to the disruptor, so ignore him. He's got a twin laser, very strong twin laser. The 883s, they're actually Daleks when you look at their pictures. But here you've got a lot of 751s and 834s, which are not immune to disruptors, so knock them off. The 834 is the fastest droid on the ship. It goes so fast it can often shoot itself.
that's not a design flaw much.
You notice how the alert status has now changed to yellow.
Yeah.
Because basically I'm destroying a lot of droids quickly. If you destroy a lot of droids quickly, the alert status on the ship will rise and the enemy will become more aggressive, but you will score more quickly.
So on this, you basically let them go first and then you get to choose where you want to...
Yeah. Basically, what you do is try to make him waste all his pulses first, and then you quickly decide where you want to put your ones. If you hold the fire button down, it will make them waste their pulses faster.
Ah, that's a handy tip.
Like the 742 is the other droid that's basically got a disruptor. 742s and 711s can't hurt each other, but a 742 could theoretically bump a 711 to death, but it would take a while. But there's that annoying 821. There's another 883. The 821. Another trick here, you can destroy the lasers, look. And that counts as destroying 2 821s.
All right.
So notice the alert status has gone to red now. Because basically I've destroyed so many droids. That is just hilarious, that 615 come dashing out. And I ran into it.
Oh.
Yeah, the 615 Sentinel droid, it's fast, but it's only got a single laser. He's not immune to disruptors, and the single lasers are not very damaging. So I tend to avoid the 6-class droids.
Except this time you've become one.
I accidentally ran into him. But yeah, you want to get rid of him straight away and get a 711 again. You see here, you've got one that changes blue to yellow. You've got one there that changes yellow to blue. You've got ones that are auto pulsers. You see the ones with the kind of double.
Yeah.
They essentially mean they'll pulse continuously. But if both of you have got an auto pulsar, it's 50-50 who wins. You notice it's a deadlock there. We got the same amount each.
Yeah.
Now, unlike some games where a draw equals you lose, no, in this a draw equals you do it again.
Yeah.
You want to choose a side that will give you the upper hand. The number of pulses you get is obviously dependent on your class of your droid.
Yeah, because you only had 4, didn't you, with a 001?
3.
So was it
3?
3?
You get 3 with a 0.1. And you get, the 999, you get all of them.
Oh, right.
The enemy always get one more than you as well. So if he were controlling a one class robot and you were controlling a one class robot, you'd get 4, he gets 5. Which is kind of, well, you wanted to give him a chance, I suppose, because he don't get the pick strategically. But as I said, if you hold the fire button down, he will waste all these pulses continuously. So you can use that to your advantage. You know, I've got 711 again here. So you want to leave the decks that have got the low class robots, because the first 5 classes of droids are all unarmed, except for the 476. 476 has got a single laser. All the others are unarmed.
Right.
So 6, 7, 8, 9 are all armed. So leave the maggots, as I'll call them, the Zucker, the small fry, and get rid of the big uns first. Like there's the 909. And the 909 you might instantly think is, best droid on the ship. Yeah, it's indestructible when you're not controlling it. When you're controlling it, it's shielded by the 001 and it's vulnerable just like any other droid. It's only got ran straight into an explosion there from a 302, another fast droid, and blew myself up.
So you're back down to your basic again.
Basic, no energy, yeah.
Yeah, back along, when you was on a deck and it went a darker colour, that means you've cleared that deck out,
That
isn't
means all robot activity has been removed.
That's just for anyone that hasn't played this, although if you haven't played this, I'm not sure why you're watching my channel. But
yeah, some decks are divided in half. You notice when it showed you the side elevation, you had 2 bits on either side of the cargo deck. You have to clear both sides in order for the deck to be cleared. But you see here, you've got like 3 splitters there, look.
Yeah.
Which means it's an instant win for me, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you've clearly got a massive advantage over him. You know, some of the wires don't even reach the middle because they're broken. But yeah, the 909 you'd think was the best ship, the best droid on the ship, but it's not. For a start, you can't control a 999 for very long, only 45 seconds before it burns out.
Is that all? Blimey.
Yeah, each droid. I mean, a 001, you can stay at 001 for about 5.5 minutes before it runs out of power and blows up. Because you've got 2 types of power in this game. You've got your maximum power and your current damage. So every time you get damaged, it will go down, but your maximum power is ticking down constantly. For the low class robots, 1 to 4, about 2 minutes 45 seconds is how long you can control them. For 5 to 8, about 1 minute 30, and for the 999, 45 seconds. So time is ticking down constantly.
If memory serves me well, is there a couple of recharge points on the ship, or do you not bother with them like that? There, you just went
the
past.
recharge points will only fix current damage, not maximum energy.
Right, gotcha.
So your maximum energy. Imagine the droid's trying to get its control back.
Yeah.
And that means you can only control it for so long. But yeah, if you take damage from lasers, you can fix that damage, but it lowers your score. And believe me, if you want a good score, you cannot use them.
I know you do like a score as well.
Yeah, I mean, this particular run here, I managed to, I think, about 35,000, but I used to average about 40 grand a ship back in the day. The furthest I ever got in this version, as I mentioned in the description I put on YouTube, I think I managed must have been something like 265,000. It's a 3-hour playthrough, and I got to ship 7, Rita based, which, funny enough, is based on Gribbly's Day Out.
Oh, right.
A lot of the ship names are basically taken from his previous games.
So that's that one cleared out.
Yeah, I mean, the 742, the Disruptor will destroy anything below a 420 instantly with one shot. The 420 is immune to disruptors, so you've got to bump him. 476, they're a damn nuisance, they are. I fall prey to them more than once in this playthrough. You've got to be careful not to bump the explosions, because the explosions will damage you.
See, I think one of the mistakes I've made while playing this game is I try and
Damn fools.
I try and clear it out deck by deck, but you seem to be flitting about all over the place. So
Yeah, look at that. Straight into a 476 again. Blasted that droid off me. Yeah, it is a strategic game. You have to remember where the dangerous droids are. You have to remember which droid can damage which droid. As I said, the disruptor can damage any droid on the ship that isn't a 711, a 420, a 711, a 742, an 821, or a 999. So only 5 droids are immune to disruptors. The twin laser will destroy every droid on the ship, except the 999. It will damage it, but it instantly regenerates itself.
oh, right.
In fact, all the robots will. If you leave them for a time, they will get their energy back. So you've got to be quick to destroy them with lasers. The single laser is much weaker. It will only damage an enemy up to about, I think it's 7.5. No, an 821 I think you can damage with a single laser. It takes 5 hits. The 834 and 883 cannot be damaged by single lasers. It just literally does no damage at all.
Right, so learning about the droids is definitely a boon when playing this game then.
Yeah, I mean, it's no good, say, like clearing out this maggot deck here and killing all the 2 and 3 class droids, and then you get blown up, end up as a 0 or 1, and there's nothing to transfer to, because the transfer game is harder the larger the disparity between your droid and the droid you're trying to take over. If you're a 0 or 1 trying to take over an 8 class droid, he's got like 3-4 times as many pulses as you, and you're going to lose, unless you're very lucky. I mean, a 2 to an 8, that's a 6 jump. Look at the pulses he's got compared to mine.
Bloody hell.
But I choose like blue, and I choose the 2 auto pulses straight away, which he can't get back. And I force a deadlock. I mean, 2 of his wires are broken. They don't reach the middle. But that's what you've got to look for. You've got to look for an obvious advantage.
Yeah, so you've got to be eyes quick on this bit then.
Yeah, you only get like 10 seconds to like decide your colour, 10 seconds to do the game. It is very much, I mean, the transfer game isn't luck. There is an element of strategy. Sometimes you will get a really bad transfer game, and neither side can win easily. Like there, forced another deadlock.
Yeah, but like that one there, you used one pulse and you got 3 out of it.
Yeah. I don't think you ever get more than a 1 into a 3. See, I mean, here you can see straight away that you've got that blue one, which he will choose. Oh, he didn't choose it, actually. Oh, it's already blue, isn't it? And there's 2 blues that are already blue, and he can't change them ones. So that's it. It's an instant win.
Yeah, I still would have lost that.
You certainly got to be quick. I mean, I was trying to play it with keyboard. I mean, this is like my 3rd attempt. And the first 2 attempts, I was having trouble getting used to my arcade joystick. It certainly had a different feel from my old Competition Pro. But I was playing it with keyboard the night before, and yeah, it's very hard to play with keyboard.
Yeah, I got to say, you like me are an old 64 man, and I mean, one of the things about the 64 was it had joystick ports in it from the get-go.
So you notice the alert status has gone to amber now.
Yeah.
Because blasted 834. You can destroy them with the 821. The 821 can theoretically destroy anything, but the 883s will take 3 shots, and the 999, unless you shoot its lasers as it's running towards you and it crashes into its own explosion, you can't destroy the 999. The 999 is best avoided.
So every time you transfer, you're basically effectively getting a new power cell, like full power.
The droid that you were controlling is destroyed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Every time you transfer, as long as that droid wasn't damaged, you'll see later in this playthrough, I transferred to a damaged droid that I disrupted, and essentially you get the energy it had left.
Oh, right.
But yeah, it's another messed up transfer game there, another deadlock. Because I know later on I get a transfer against the 909, and I panicked and chose the wrong side. And it was just an instant loss. I think it was the only transfer game I lost. So you notice there you've got 2 auto pulses.
Yeah.
I won it. It's 50-50 if you both got that. So another 742. But they're the droids you want to concentrate on. I know when Rignall did his challenge in Zap, I think they brought someone in from outside to challenge him. I remember reading on the scorelog pages, the scorelog getting well upset when Julian basically wouldn't die. He just kept coming back, and he won that particular challenge. I must admit, I would have loved to have taken him on myself back in the day. He was one of the only reviewers. He's one of the only games reviewers I've ever respected. Especially when I saw him on Games Master. He said exactly what I know I would have said. He's very critical. But he should have been. He was managing so many magazines at that point. He knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, he still does.
I don't deny it. I know he gave a lot of Zap fans, later on in the later years, a lot of flack over them criticising him because he bought an ST. Calling him a traitor, saying like you should have bought an Amiga. And I remember him saying like, I play games. I don't care what the machine is. And I've always had the same attitude myself. I play games.
I'll tell you what, you say that, but if you look at us and all our friends when we were younger, because we've known each other quite a long while.
Almost as old as
Paradroid. A lot of our friends went Commodore 64, then ST, didn't they?
Yeah,
and it's weird.
I bought mine because of you and Dean.
But a lot of Spectrum owners then went went Spectrum to Amiga. I know the ones we know, we all end up with STs. But I've read there's a lot of people I've known that are into retro gaming that went Spectrum Amiga and missed the ST. It just seemed you would have thought that would have been the other way around.
I mean, it was Dungeon Master that sold me on the ST, seeing it around Dean's house. But it was other games as well, Carrier Command and even Star Trek The Rebel Universe. I played that enough, didn't I?
Yeah, you completed that at my house, as I remember.
Yeah.
And then when we all ended up with Amigas. Anyway, Paradroid.
Yeah, I mean, this game, as I said, I used to come home from working late at Tesco's. Back when I was a teenager. Yeah, this is where I die. Look at this. I got between all three 4-class bloody robots. And for some reason, I didn't die there. Because bumping droids that are more than, I think, 3 classes above you will damage you. And I got lucky there that it didn't just kill me outright. But the 493 I'm trying to transfer to, I got very lucky transfer.
You did, didn't you?
But yeah, you notice when I transferred to this, the 493 hasn't got full energy because it was disrupted. So look, very slow rotation there.
Yeah. Well, I think at this point, since we've mentioned the 16-bit computers, and I know your thoughts on it, I think perhaps we should mention Paradroid 90.
Yeah, I must confess to being, no disrespect to Andrew Braybrook. I've got nothing but praise for this game, but I was crushingly disappointed when I played the ST version of it. I understand he was trying to do something different. He didn't just simply want to remake Paradroid, the 64 version. He wanted to try something different. But like Uridium 2, he was going for a different angle. But it didn't work for me.
No, well, I'll chuck up a bit of the Amiga version, because that's similar to the ST one. Well, it's not. I think it might be an ST port actually. But I'll put a picture up of that so people can see what we're talking about. But yeah, it's got nice graphics and that, and obviously, it's got 16-bit sound, higher resolution. But as you say, it's just looking at it, I don't think I've actually played it properly, but just looking at it, it is a different game, and
it certainly plays differently. I think that was the trouble back then. You'd got used to playing a game a certain way on the 64, like Armalite, for instance, and then you play Armalite on the ST or the Amiga, and you think, this isn't Armalite, it's another shoot 'em up with Armalite's name slapped on it. And that's how it felt with Paradroid. It felt like it was, I know people would say it's Paradroid 90, it's not Paradroid, is it? It's a reimagining. Yeah, notice I've screwed that transfer game up with a 999 completely there. I literally panicked and chose the left instead of the right. And yeah, you get rejected. If you fail to transfer game when you are the 0 or 1, that's it, you burn out.
Yeah, game over, yeah. Yeah, and also I was showing Jeff earlier on the kind of Spectrum take on Paradroid, which was Quasitron, which is it's like a 3D isometric game.
Yeah, it feels more like a 3D Citadel, to be honest, than a Paradroid clone.
Yeah, well, I did read that Crash Magazine said that was better than the original Paradroid on the Commodore 64, and while I don't want to start any playground arguments, that is bollocks.
It doesn't, it's slow, it's jerky. The graphics are obviously nice because the Spectrum was always had high-res graphics. But it does feel like a very slow 3D Citadel. It doesn't feel like Paradroid. I mean, like I said, this game, it's got this minimalist approach. I can see straight away what the droids are by the number on them. I can see its current energy by the rotation on the droid. That's, you know, each droid, well, those ones are dying with a single hit, but when you damage it, you can see the rotation slows on the droid. And you can see your rotation. You can see mine's slowed already.
Yeah, I always thought that was a nice touch, actually, that using that, rather than having like a energy bar on the screen.
Yeah, it's instant feedback, and that was what I liked about it. I mean, this version, it's twice the speed of the original. I don't know how Braybrook did it. Apparently, he messed about with the code on the C1 to 8 with its faster processor, and he found a way of making it run better. You know, I was just so taken with it when I first loaded it up. I thought, my God, is this smooth compared to the version I played around my mate's house? Yep, blown up again. I hate 476s. They are the bane of this game because, you know, all the low decks, you think, oh, they're only like 1 to 4 class droids. They're all unarmed. Yeah, except for the 476s. They will end you if they give you a chance. When you clear a ship, the droids all increment. So where you got 2s before, you'll get 3s. And where you got 7s before, you'll get 8s.
Ah, right.
And believe me, when you get to ship 7, everything is a battle droid. Virtually. Everything is a battle droid or a security droid. And you can't afford one messed up transfer going.
So if you finish this ship and you're in, say, a 7-11, when you go to the next dreadnought, you go straight back to being a 001.
No, you keep the droid you're in control.
Oh, you do keep the droid you're in control.
You'll see that at the end of the playthrough. You keep what you've got, essentially.
Oh, that's not so bad then.
I mean, here I ran away with my tail between my legs again and went and got 296. I mean, the 0-1 is armed. I mean, you can destroy things. I mean, if a robot hasn't got an armament, it uses the 0-1's armament. So all your low-class droids, you're stuck with those very weak, slow-cycling lasers, which will destroy anything up to, well, you could take on a 629, but it'd take about 8 hits. Because it just keeps getting its health back. And I mean, there, 821, much better.
Yeah, God, look at them pulses compared to yours.
Oh, no. The 821, I mean, me and James always used to call it like Zax from Benji, Zax and the Alien Prince, because that's exactly what he looks like. You know, an 821. It might even be where Braybrook got the idea from.
You never know. Perhaps I'll post this on Twitter and tag him in it. He might watch it, he might answer. Would be interesting to hear that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, where he got the ideas for some of these droids. Because when we show you the console, if you take over a 999, the console will show you every class of droid, robot droid. It'll only show you up to your current rank. Yeah, there, I forgot to do the one that's on the small deck, because that's kind of divided into 3 sections, that one. And often there's a little one in here. A servant robot. You have to get rid of it before the deck lights go down. Yeah, you can't afford to miss anything. I mean, you've got to remember which decks you've cleared. I mean, James did say today, my brother, he said it'd be nice if the side elevation kind of changed colour to indicate which decks had been cleared, which would be a nice touch.
Yeah,
He probably just didn't think of it at the time. But yeah, we're coming to the end of the ship now. Basically, I get a lovely amount of 476s just to hassle the crap out of me. All shooting their blooming single, me dodging up and down, trying to dodge their damn single lasers. I mean, you can blow them up with a single shot. That's it. But you keep the 821.
Oh, nice.
You know, Metal Hawk. I'm not sure where Metal Hawk comes from, that name. It might be from Morpheus.
So that's you starting the next ship then?
Yeah.
Right, cool.
And as I said, the next ship, the robots will all be just that little bit tougher. They all shoot a bit quicker. They're all slightly higher ranks. But yeah, this is the console. Basically, if you go take over, you can do it with the 0-1, but you'll only be able to look at the 0-1's information.
Yeah.
But essentially, the console, it shows you basic information about every particular droid up to the one you're currently controlling. So I just quickly grabbed a 999 and went to a console so you could see all of them. 123 dustbin robot, I used to call it.
Crichton.
I mean, that one looks like a flipping Hoover, don't it?
Yeah.
Or a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah. Other Hoover companies are available.
Yeah, that's it.
Vacuum cleaner. I'll sell it myself now.
The low-level droids, as you can see from the information,
They look like the one from the Jetsons, don't they?
yeah, you can see it's got armament none, and most of them have got very basic sensors, so they won't come after you. But these robots can't fight back. I mean, that one's like a drinks tray, isn't it? It's like the one from Return of the Jedi, isn't it? With a drink of R2-D2 with the drinks on top of it. Yeah, the 302 messenger robot, second fastest robot on the ship. They're notorious for crashing into you. You know, usually when you're shooting, so the explosion will go straight over you. The maintenance robot. It doesn't mention here that it's immune to disruptors, but it is. It's a very useful droid on the later ships to grab one of them, because on the later ships, the enemy battle droids will disrupt like crazy, and they will kill you quickly if you ain't immune to disruptors. Yeah, the 476. Nasty little bugger, because it's got a laser. Maintenance robot with its own toolbox. James always used to think that was funny. Yeah, the 493. All the crew droids, they're all unarmed, which is kind of odd. You think, why are the 5-class droids unarmed, but the 476 has got a laser?
Yeah, the imagination into the types of droids and that are great.
Yeah, I mean, I remember writing it all down once when I was at college, you know, on a piece of paper, working out which droids could hurt which droids, which had what armaments, and you know, I even played it on one of their computers in the library and passed it off as like my own project. Apologies to Andrew Braybrook, you know, that was just to get the library off my back so they didn't know I was playing a game. They were kind of dumb for thinking that. I mean, the game was way too polished for some college student to have made it. But yeah, as you can see, the Sentinel droids all had lasers, but it's the 711 and 742. They were the match winners because of their disruptors.
Yeah, I mean, being able to kill any robot on screen.
Yeah, I mean, you get like 5 or 6 droids on screen at once and you can blow them all to bits with one shot. The 751, oddly, has only got a single laser. It's listed as like the strongest of the battle droids, but really it isn't, because it hasn't got a disruptor. The 834, the fastest droid on the ship. On later levels, it shoots so fast, it will literally destroy itself.
Yeah, Dalek.
Yeah, the 883.
Exterminator.
It even mentions, look, for some unknown reason, it instills great fear in humans. You know, it's the 999. It's mounted on a security droid base. But it does say, warning, the influence device may not control a primo brain for long. It burns out very quickly, a 999, 45 seconds. So you don't want to stay as one of them for long. But it has got the fastest cycle rate of, well, any droid. So you can shoot very quickly with it. But yeah, that basically shows you the side view and it shows you the deck view. And that's basically it.
Right. Well, I suppose we might as well finish off with the loading picture again. Actually, I was going to do another playthrough, but the loading picture's amusing. So,
yeah, it is, isn't it? I mean, when I bought the fast Paradroid version down that shop in Waltham Cross, I can't remember, you said it was called Trumps, didn't you?
Yeah, it was. I mean,
I was expecting to get the original Paradroid that I'd played around at Paul Franklin's house on his 64, and when I got it home and it started with this loading screen, I thought, I don't remember this around his house. Because he did, I'm pretty sure he did have the original of, you know, slow Paradroid. And then when the game loaded and it was so damn smooth, I thought, Christ, what have they done to it?
Yeah, I suppose we better not remember the very monochrome heavy metal edition, which was all grey, wasn't it?
Yeah, to be honest, I know of it, and I think I've got an image of it somewhere, but I don't think I've ever played that version.
Well, there's something for you to try out.
Yeah, I know James, he actually sent me a kind of a Redux version where someone a few years, I think it's 10 years back now, actually went through the game and fixed all the bugs. Because apparently, the game isn't perfect. It has got bugs. Sometimes droids will overlap with each other and your shots will go through them.
Oh, right.
And sometimes, like, you can go through droids. And sometimes, like, you get a lot of them using sound effects. I mean, not on this particular loading screen, but especially on the cargo deck, sometimes when there's all lasers flying around, you'll get all these weird noises. In fact, it's where the phrase "goes mental on this deck" comes from. You know, that's the phrase I always used to say. It's because it comes from this game.
Excellent stuff. Right, well, that's about wraps that up then, doesn't it? Cheers for joining me, mate. It's much more interesting talking to someone about this game that knows what they're on about than me trying to bodge through it and make a complete mess while trying to sort of review or show the game off. So, yeah, I really appreciate you coming on and joining me on the channel and having a chat.
Yeah, not a problem. I mean, to be fair though, I mean, it's been probably, I don't know honestly, when I used to play this game, when I was a teenager, about 17, so I haven't played it seriously in 30 years. But I did play it a while back on your arcade machine, didn't I? And I think I got the ship free then, didn't I?
Yeah.
I think we just stopped at that point.
Yeah.
To get to ship 7, I think that was the best I ever did. I used to regularly get to like ships 5 and 6, but it only takes one bad transfer, or sometimes you'll go to the cargo deck and you'll get a bunch of 834s and they will mash shut before you can get even one disrupt off. It's that kind of game. It's really frantic, but yeah, I did play it a lot.
Well, there you go. So if you haven't played this, play it, watch this video, listen to Jeff, and you should be able to get through it yourself. So that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Jeff for joining me. I'll see you in the next one. Laters.
Laters.